Hey, what's going on, folks? Welcome back to the Real Legend of Gaming. We are back with another episode of Clash Royale, and this time we're talking about everything today. So, a couple things occurred, specifically a major announcement, which you'll see on the right hand side of the screen. There's a balance update coming on August 11th. We also will be discussing what released today was Woody's card popularity snapshot number 30. And it's very interesting because a lot of the decks that were showcased in here, along with the popular cards, they will be affected dramatically by the balance changes. So we'll be able to automatically see how those changes are affecting the meta because this snapshot discusses the best decks right now. All right, so let's switch back to the balance changes. We'll talk about that. That's most likely the main reason why you're watching this video, right? So we shall deliver on what you guys want to see. So let's check it out. Now, I'm not going to go into reading every single line because I'll leave the link in the description so you guys can check it out yourselves, right? This is not going to be story time. I'm just going to give you guys just a little premise of what I think and, other feedback and commentary from that. So right off the bat, I'm sure you guys already heard, rest in peace, Night Witch. So the Night Witch got nerfed, and I mean really, really dramatically. I know the Night Witch was the most popular card in the game, was in almost every deck. And I guess to balance things out, they had to do it. But these changes are crazy. And don't take that as I'm not agreeing with it because it needed to be done. You know what I'm saying? I always trust the judgment of Clash Royale. So the Night Witch damage is reduced by 9%. Range reduced by 11%. The bat spawn speed is changing from 6 seconds to 7 seconds, and it will spawn 2 bats on death instead of 3. It's a lot of big changes there. This next one here, I was a little surprised because I didn't think that the battle ram was necessarily a problem. I thought just the whole bridge span aspect of it was the problem. So the battle ram is taking a bit longer to begin charging, and the barbarians will spawn slower. So this gives you a lot more time to be able to react to the battle ram. Again, I didn't think it needed a nerf, but it happened. So, so those using bridge span, those days are over, folks. The next change is for the graveyard. So the duration is changing from 10 seconds to 9, and the spawn skeletons is going from 17 to 15. This is huge. There's been plenty of times where if you were defending against the graveyard, there might be 1 or 2 skeletons left over that will continue to hit your tower while, let's say, the golem or the Pekka was, being stopped by your defense. So this change will make an impact on that. And also the duration being shortened too would also make it a little, it's going to dramatically change the amount of damage done. Let's put it that way. I think I heard OJ say the damage is going to go down a couple hundred points. And that's a lot. The next up is Electro Wizard. His hit points is going down 2%. So basically the HP is going to go down. I don't think this is a crazy nerf. I just think that a Fireball will be able to do more damage on the Electro Wizard. And if it's a high enough Fireball, it will probably take him out. Or leave him with a small, tiny fraction of HP. So I guess they need to do this because there's been times where the Electro Wizard would survive an attack and get maybe one more hit or one more reset on the Infernal Tower, Infernal Dragon, or any of those buildings that you're cycling. So that change is okay. It's understood. The most controversial card in Clash Royale, I feel, didn't really get a dramatic nerf, and that's the heal. So the duration was changed from 3 seconds to 2.5. So that's maybe 2 less clicks than it usually does. I don't know if that's enough to stop the 3 Musketeer hero combo. It is a nerf. We'll see how it is. I understand they don't want to break the card like they did with the Executioner, like they did with E-Barbs, even with the Night Witch as well. So let's see what happens. Next one up, I'm actually a big fan favorite of this one here. The Mini Pekka's damage is going up 4.6% actually. That's pretty big. That is pretty big. It's going to be able to do a lot of damage, and you're going to see the Mini Pekka come out in a lot of decks now as a replacement for maybe even the Knight. or even a replacement for the Night Witch. So check that out, folks. That's going to be very interesting. I'm pretty excited because I released a deck back in April called the Samurai Warriors, which has showcased the mini Pekka and the Pekka as the takedown monsters, the warriors, right? And another card that I will mention later that will be changed with these balance changes. So I'm very excited to be able to use that deck again because it was solid. Now, next up, the next two choices I think caught everyone in Clash Royale by surprise. And one is specifically the Expo, which deploy time will change from 4 seconds to 3.5. But the biggest surprise was the Mortar, because we already know that Mortar Cycle deck was very solid and very strong. I mean, Clash Royale showcased it in a video earlier this week or last, and it was crazy. So that deploy time is also changing from 4 seconds to 3.5. Now, this card here, coming up, I don't know how many times we're going to buff this card. I hope that this buff here finally gets it right, because the Dark Prince is a cool card in theory, but is a really whack card in reality. So the damage is going up 6%. The hit speed is changing from 1.5 seconds to 1.4. This should be able to do a lot of damage against a Musketeer. And it should be able to take out, well, let me not say take out, but it would do a lot of damage to the 3 Musketeers. Could even take out 2 Musketeers with a charge and a couple swings. So this is huge. Next up, and I feel like crying right here because this is exciting. Like, I want music to come on right now to celebrate. But my boy, my favorite card of all time, my favorite legendary, the Ice Wizard, is getting a buff. And the buff is so good that it will be able to one-shot Skellies. Wow. Finally, it's happening. It's getting a 10% damage boost, which is strong. However, I just want to point out that there's a catch. The hit speed is going from 1.5 seconds to 1.7. So it's going to do a lot more damage on each attack. However, it's going to take a little bit longer to do the next attack. I guess they had to balance it out, because if not, the Ice Wizard would have become the meta king for sure. And would have became the new Night Witch. So, is the Ice Wizard still going to be popular? For sure. Most definitely. Am I excited? That's an obvious answer already. You're going to see this card a lot. I already have a deck. That Samurai Warriors Princess, actually not Warrior Princess, I'm thinking about a show. The Samurai Warriors deck that I mentioned earlier has the Ice Wizard too. So I'm stoked. And last but not least, you have the bats. So the bat count is going from 4 to 5. So people will use the bats again. I don't think they were worth using. For 2 elixir, they could get zapped. With 1 extra one, let's see what happens. I mean, you saw how the skeletons got nerfed and then the goblins became a popular card. So maybe the bats will also. All right? So let's go into the snapshot. Okay, so now we're going into the snapshot. So Woody, CR, which I want to say you're the man, comes out with this card popularity snapshot. I look forward to it every month. It basically highlights what are the most popular cards in Clash Royale and the most popular decks. Now, I'm definitely dropping a link to this in the description, and I do not plan to read this word for word because I will not do that to Woody. I think that you should go click this link when the video is done and read it for yourselves. But I just want to quickly point out the top decks just by name, and you guys will automatically see that these balance changes are going to affect a lot of these decks. So right there, just on the beginning of the article, you see the heal spell. That change will affect this deck as well with the battle rank. Now, according to the snapshot, it basically states that the log is doing really well right now, and the goblin has made a huge rise into the top decks, which we mentioned that earlier. I even heard Ash, not Clash Ash, the other Ash, right? It's always funny to say that. But he basically mentioned this about a week ago, even 2 weeks ago maybe, how the goblin has making, huge rounds in the top decks. So It's good that he pointed it out and it's confirmed right here. Now, it says the Night Witch has risen to the number 3 spot. That's going to change now with the nerf. It also says that the Ice Spirit, the Ice Golem, Mega Minion, Fireball, Poison are all popular cards. And I'm going to just breeze right through that because, again, I don't want to, take credit away from this. Now, the top 200 suggested deck list features a 3 Musketeer beatdown, which if you look at it, it has the heal spell. The Golem beatdown, which consists of the Night Witch. The Hog Rider control, which, looking at the list, it doesn't look like it will really be affected much unless you put in the Electro Wizard. The Giant beatdown is going to be affected because of the Night Witch and Electro Wizard. The Hog Rider Executioner beatdown, looking at it, will not be affected actually. So the cards in there are fine. The Pekka Graveyard beatdown, obviously hence the name. Graveyard has been changed. Electro Wizard got nerfed. The Graveyard Control, same thing. The Graveyard got nerfed. Night Witch as well. The Minor Balloon Control, looking at it, Night Witch, if it's in part of that deck, is being hurt as well. The Goblin Barrel Log Bait Control should be fine. 3 Musketeer Control should be affected because of the heal spell and the Night Witch and the Battle Ram. The Battle Ram Bandit Blitz will be affected because of the Battle Ram and the Night Witch and the Electro Wizard. The Pekka Bandit Control will be affected because of the Battle Ram and the Night Witch and the E-Wiz if you substitute it in there. The Pekka Minor Control will be affected because of the Battle Ram or the Night Witch. You see you see the pattern here, folks? The Lava Hound Balloon Beatdown would actually be okay. That deck will be okay. If anything, I think it might get a little bit stronger because folks are going to be using Lightning a lot more now. You're going to be able to use Lightning now because there's going to be, I believe buildings are going to be brought back. Now that the Night Witch got nerfed, I see the Inferno Tower coming back. So you're going to need to carry that Lightning in there. The next up is the Giant Minions Beatdown. That features the Night Witch, so it's going to be affected. The Balloon Control has the Electro Wizard in it, so it will be impacted. It also has the Night Witch. And the last is the X-Bow Siege. Now this deck is going to become even more beast. Insane. That's all I got to say. So the X-Bow, with that buff, is going to be dropping down faster. So that means it's going to give the opponent less of a chance to counter it. And you're going to be cycling that Knight. You're going to be cycling everything else in there. I don't think the Knight's in this deck. I'm confusing with the Mortar cycle, but you're going to be cycling everything, and you're going to be able to protect that card, and it's going to be hopping away at the tower really fast. So that's going to be a dramatic change. So I'm going to drop the link in the description. Be sure to check this out. All right, folks. So here goes the challenge of 1 chess. My season high was 4,100, which was pretty good. It was also my personal best. So right off the back, we get some gold. Had a choice of Elite Barbarians or Archers. I went with the Archers. I just don't use E-Barbs anymore. Goblin or Barbarian. I went with the Goblins. Elixir Collector or Inferno Tower. I went with the Elixir Collector. And this is all before the balance changes, obviously. I was thinking of beatdown deck. And over here, Dark Prince or Baby Dragon. I went with the Baby Dragon. But had I known about the balance changes, I might have went with the Dark Prince. So that was it, folks. Now, I'll show you also the clan chest opening. DRO Nation has a healthy 29 members. So it is growing. And I think we did pretty good. We got a tier 6 with just 29 members. We got some Wizards. We got more Archers. And we got some Ice Golems, which is pretty good. Ice Spirits. And a Dark Prince, right? So maybe I was supposed to know that the Dark Prince was getting buffed, right? I mean, we've been talking about it a long time. I know Ash mentioned it a few times as well. So there you have it, folks. We discussed the balance changes. We went over some of the popular decks and how they'll be affected. And I show you some chest openings. All right, so we'll leave you this one here, which is a free chest opening. All right, folks, peace out. Again, If it's your first time watching me, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're a returning sub, thanks for the support. Be sure to like and share. All right, peace out.